Okay, so I've got a tutorial here for you guys, and I'm going to show you how to make some night lights using the daylight sensors in the game. And basically what we'll be able to do is during the night, these lights in front of us will be turned off. And at night, they will be turned on so that you can see in the dark without having to turn them on with a switch. They will just do it automatically. This should be a pretty simple tutorial. It's not very hard to do, and I've got a nice little setup here for you to show you how it works. Right down here you can see these are the daylight sensors, so that's how this whole thing operates. And then I've just got some lights sitting up here. Whatever you guys are building, you guys can do it in any different format you want, but this will just kind of help you get the idea of how it works. So let's go ahead and go underneath and see how the guts of this thing works. So here is the daylight sensors. Okay. And you are going to need redstone right underneath them, and for this case it's just one block underneath them, and then to give you some more space we'll go down another block from there. And then from that point, the whole setup is basically however you want it. The main concept that you need here is that during the day, these redstone torches, which is what you're going to be using to keep the lights on and off, the redstone torches need to be off during the day. When you place down a redstone torch, it will be on, so we need to design a mechanism that will turn it off when an incoming flow of redstone turns it off. So here's a really good way to explain how this works. If you were to have a redstone torch right next to the redstone right here in front of us, it's going to immediately turn that redstone on. Now if I want to turn that redstone off, that redstone torch, to turn that off, if I were to, switch this lever, nothing's going to happen because the redstone is already being turned on by the redstone torch. Now, if you have something like this, where you have your redstone torch on top of a block, and then you put redstone down next to it, the redstone torch will not affect the redstone, so it'll still be turned off. So then what you can do is you can place a switch connected to that redstone somewhere along the lines, and you can flick the switch on. When you do that, the redstone comes to the block, and it actually turns off the redstone torch. So that's exactly what we're seeing here. The redstone from the daylight sensors are coming into the circuit. They're coming into this little repeater which is connected to the block, which turns that redstone torch off during the day. And when it is nighttime, the daylight sensors will no longer light up and activate these redstone. So that means that the redstone that you can see if we follow the path will reach these individual redstone torches. The redstone won't be the energy going through the redstone won't be going anymore, and so then these will turn on. When they're turned on, then you'll see that the lights are all turned on by the redstone torch. So then from that point, at night, you'll see that the lights are on, and at day, the lights are turned off, which is exactly what we want. It's really an easy concept, so it shouldn't be too hard to build. The first thing you're going to want to do when you're building one of these contraptions is first find out where you want to put your lights. So an easy, simple way to do it for your first time would just be to put them in a row like this. So if you have a street, or if you're going to have to do this on the ground, you're not going to be able to have a street light that's hovering above the ground. But for this tutorial, it's just going to be through the ground. So you're going to have something lined up along maybe a path. I think that's the easiest way to start with. So once you have some sort of design on where you want your lights, then you're going to go underneath the lights that you want, and you're going to start off by finding an area near the lights. So after you've already, let's assume that you've already put these lights in. So let's say that this is the structure you wanted to build, the one that I have. And you have the lights in. Now you're going to have to put a daylight sensor somewhere next to these lights so that the energy from the daylight sensor will activate them. So for me, it's right here. You don't want to make it look too awkward, so I put 4 of them all around to kind of make it look aesthetically pleasing. And basically, you're just going to figure out a way. It's going to be different for everybody. But you just need to figure out a way to get the redstone to reach each one of these lights. You really don't need the repeaters. That's just something that I've added. The repeaters do continuous signal. So if you have a really long distance, which if you're making a pathway with lights down it, you're going to have to use these repeaters. So assuming you're underground, you have your daylight sensor starting your redstone signal. In this example, we're just using a redstone torch. And you can see that as you go down, the redstone continues to get less and less energy until right here it stops. So even though we have a signal going to this light here that we want lit up, and for the case of our example, this light would be underground, but just for this example, it's above ground. You're going to need to replace this area right here put a redstone repeater, and then the signal will be carried on further. So when you're underground, if you have a really long stretch between your daylight sensor and your lights, which is totally cool if you want to have your daylight sensor very far away from your lights just to keep it away from things, or if you want to somehow figure out a way to put it on a roof of a house and somehow get the signal down to the basement or whatever you're going to do, because it's going to be unique to every person, you're going to need to use these to extend your signal. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So now let's go ahead and watch it happen right in front of us. You'll see it's day. Oh, there it goes. It just turned on. It's getting close to the evening as the sun is setting. The lights turn themselves on because and actually the way I have it set up, the three lights in the middle are farther away from my daylight sensor. So as the sun goes down, they get the energy or they get turned off first, and then eventually these next two sets of lights are going to get turned on, but it'll be different for everybody. So there you go. The next ones are turning on now. Hopefully you'll be able to use this in your own Minecraft worlds. I really hope that somehow this will be incorporated into your builds, and let me know how you use it in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe. I've got a few other redstone videos coming up after this one, so I hope you guys will enjoy. Thanks for watching.